FNS.
¿Qué hizo, me invitó?
Pero a ver, FNS sesión.
Únete.
Espérate, déjame ver. Empieza en 2 horas, amigo.
Pero primero entré.
¿Qué? Ya.
Entremos a ver qué pasa.
Pero con el Batman no hay que ir de gala, po.
¿Por qué de gala?
Hay que ir bien arreglados.
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué la FNS?
Ya,
dale, yo voy. ¿Ah?
La mea gala.
Sí, porque tiene mascarilla.
Porque tiene mascarilla. ¡Pailito!
Amigo, espérate.
Listo, ya no podéis estar.
¿Amontono? FNS Final.
La fiesta acaba de empezar.
Grand Finance.
Cállate.
Amigo, y tengo la pantalla de la World Cup. ¿Cachai mi directo?
No, porque yo no veo directo de malardos.
Malardo, entonces ¿por qué siempre los ves?
¿Yo?
Ajá.
Porque soy malo. ¡Mamá! ¡Se me salió el globo!
¿Qué globo?
¡Pa! ¡Se me salió la caja! ¡Se me salió todo! ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde? ¡En la gran pantalla!
¡Gran pantalla, corre!
¡Dale! ¡Hay un auto! ¡Una cosa así! ¡Ay, lo que están yendo con gancho! El primo, una habilidad mejor hermano. ¡Gancho! ¡Tráeme uno! ¡Tierra tuyo! ¡Gracias! ¡Corre, corre!
¡Corre!
¡Dale, corre!
¡Uy, se está dando! ¡Uy,
¡Bacán! Oceanía, Europa. ¿Y dónde está Brasil?
Brasil.
Brasil 20. ¿Qué? Mira dónde te dan más.
En Europa. ¿Qué? ¿What? Mira, atrás Tamidas. Tamidas atrás. Mira, no murió entonces. Mira, no murió.
No murió, mira, no sabía.
No, sí, sí. ¿Qué haces?
Mientras.
So definitely check out the blog for all the details.
¿Entendí algo?
And if you can't wait for more DC characters, Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and my personal favorite Batman will be back in the item shop for
Mira,
the
cacha.
time. Get their cosmetic sets before they disappear.
Ah, yo tengo esas dos.
Don't forget Joyride has hit the game and will not be seen
Tengo también las dos.
Tenemos las dos. El señor ese de ahí, Luca. Luca, mira, ven. Luca, ven.
¿Qué?
Ven acá, po. Acá atrás. Mira mi nombre, po.
¿Sí qué? ¿Sí?
A ver acá, Luca, soy el Batman. Mira, ese señor de ahí siempre está en la FNS. Ese de ahí siempre está en
Igual
la
que ese, pues
FNS.
ese estuvo en la World Cup.
¿Y ese?
Ese no lo conozco.
¿Estuvo en la World Cup?
Sí, ¿no lo sabía?
No.
Entonces, ¿no viste la World Cup?
Total. Victoria 0 puntos.
Ah, no, pues, Victoria. NRC. Oceanía Champions.
¿Y esto qué es? Lo que
Mira el
va
resultado de
primero.
Oceanía.
Oceanía. Bien. Ganáis más en Europa, hermano.
Que mira el dinero que se llevó. ¿Cachai?
Mira el último. 1 millón nomás.
300.
¿Quieres pelear? Ándate, no puedo ver nada. Listo. Ya, ¿y esto de qué? Oceanía. ¿Esto es Oceanía? Otra vez otro me envía Solipo, cacha.
Intentando lo de Oceanía.
YouTube. Otra vez lo de Oceanía, pero en otro top. Ya, empiece rápido, FNS, quiero verla. No puedo abrir una fajora, hermano.
No tiene fuerza.
Para atrás,
¿Y cuántos se clasificaban? ¿100 o se clasificaban 50?
¡Ay!
Asia.
Luca, mira lo que te pusieron.
¿Qué? Dan algo por ver a gratis. No sé.
Creo que te dan una mochila de
Eliminaciones 11, victorias magistrales 0, 47 puntos en
Pero
Asia.
victoria 0, ¿por qué?
Ah, que se clasificaron 50, po.
¿Y cómo sabí? Uno que se llama Joaquín me envió solicitud por Play y por coso.
Joaquín Pro Gamer.
Sí. No, Joaquín Pro. ¿Me están enviando caleta Soli? ¿Qué onda? ¿Cuál es Joaquín? A ver qué fin tiene.
Joaquín Pro 2013.
Sí. Ya, porque yo quiero ver en Brasil.
Bueno, queremos, ¿te imaginas ahí aparece Rusty, Kiki y Frosty?
En esto no, yo quiero ver Argentina. Hermano, espera.
They were tied. You go all the way down to 18th to 20th. Wildhawk, Bob, these guys were tied too, and it was their individual performance every game that stood out. So remember, every single game we watched today, every single play matters the most.
That's right, man. And this is something we're going to talk about for the whole time, right? Is every interaction matters.
No hay música de bailes porque si no hay copyright.
While the other is allowed to continue moving and continue.
No hay música, mira, haz un baile, no hay música.
Has to wait. They have to reset and come back into the game with a fresh mindset.
Poco on.
More points.
And these guys have been doing it all weekend long since Friday. They've been playing in these set lobbies, these very difficult games, and for some of them, they're done. They've already played it through, but for others, regions that we're looking forward to, EU up next, and these guys have such a competitive field. Look at the first
Europa.
qualified players, and that is
Fue
just
Mongrel.
1/5.
Milán, Mongrel está ahí. Ay, mira, cacha. Al tercero, de primera fila.
Final 100 players. These guys are at the top of their game, and they're going to be playing against other people who are used to winning. On this page alone, I'm looking at Scouts, Keziks, Seven Tour, Mongrel, big, insane, legendary names looking to get another title under their belt.
¿Se clasificará Wolfies?
Region was on that page too, the player who won Heat 4 against people.
Europa.
Flores came out of Heat 1 with a dominant performance. We're going to be looking at him to see if he can maintain a good start out of the early game. Tayson, who had the first start in Heat 2 with a back-to-back victory royales, and we've talked about before how much that matters. His
Sí, parece que sí se clasificó, Wolfies.
after only 2 games.
Atlante,
And whether you're watching in-game in Party Royale or anywhere online, just pick a name over here, follow it through, find a new favorite player, and follow your favorite old ones too, like Lecce, like Fasroki, X-Squeeze 2, who's an insane winner, winning back-to-back games through all stages of the competition. These guys are about to play some of the hardest games of their lives and are going to give us some of the best Fortnite we have ever watched.
Yesterday was literally like a little taste of that, right? And we've seen these pockets of
En la cuarta fila, tercero.
grand finals. Today will bring some of the best Fortnite we've ever seen. I mean, there's no way of knowing. Will someone break away and hold off strong? Will people go
Acá no hay
head-to-head
ninguno
and
que
kind
yo
of pull
conozca.
each other back, and at the very end, someone will cross the finish line? No way of knowing, guys. This will all unfold before our very eyes.
Yeah, I mean, Zeke usually asks me the question, who do you think is going to win? I'm going to answer before you get to ask any one of these 100 players because they all deserve it, 100%, all the way up to this point. I'm serious. It's anyone's game. Every single person on all those pages for Europe are so good.
And I want to add one thing to that too, because it might be anybody's game, but also think about the fact that one player after all of this, out of 100, is going to be walking away the winner, the champion. That is just mind-blowing to me.
Yesterday we got to see the top 25 move on, and we thought about which 75 would fall. Now it's the 99 that will not make the cut. With that being said, though, let's take a look at a replay that has led us to this point.
Yeah.
¿Quién es este loco? Oh, what the fuck, los locos son terriblemente buenos.
Of heat number 1, and we're highlighting him because he won in a surprising fashion, coming out from behind and dueling a lot of other top players, and he did it with style, winning a game with something like 5 eliminations and then taking the lead from
Cacha, quedan 8 en el último círculo. 7. El Wave, este loco es bueno, mira, cacha.
Yeah, the name to remember is Wave Advised, especially anyone having Wave in front of their names, but just look at the way he broke down every game.
Gana con 33 puntos se hizo.
It was always back against the wall, but always found a way through to win every single time.
Sí, 59 puntos se hizo.
But moving on into Heat 2, if you missed that one, this was electric. This was fantastic.
Oye, aquí está Tyson, este loco ¿tú conoces? Este loco parece que era... Este loco parece que era antes dúo de ¿cómo se llama? De Stompy, ¿lo conoces? Stompy. ¿No? Stompy, el dúo de Aqua.
Janice is playing today too, so these guys will have to face off against each other at the same drop spot in the same end games, and it's unpredictable as to what will actually end up breaking down.
Mira, ahí está Benji.
In that heat, it was Kinzel. They ended up dueling.
Que como
Also,
cuarto
somebody
parece.
who came out of Steamy Stack, so we'll have to keep that in mind. But moving into Heat 3, this is something that caught a lot of people.
Parece que este es de las semifinales. Ayer. Son buenos.
Like that. Nobody expected what he did throughout the qualifiers. Nobody expected a second place on day 3, into a first place on day 4, into a first place in the Heat.
48.
The most surprising
Miren
performance by
el
far,
lutazo que
absolutely, and the
lleva.
most impressive in style. XP's always puts themselves into positions where he can show
Recuerda
his
que acá
flair,
todos van a
show
llevar
his
cama
aim,
elástica.
and gives a good insight to what shots he likes to
Y
take.
se pone el
All these
ninja
shots
al
always
medio.
culminate to a win. Look at how fast he is past edits, landing the bullets that he needs to land to be able to get eliminations and then win games close range, 4 people back to back, and he did this in multiple games.
And that's not all. Well,
Me silencio el micro para que puedan escuchar todos. Me silencio este micro, el micro de los dos. A ver, ¿este qué es? ¿Qué significa Ainon? No, este loco. Prendite, corrón. Porque estos locos son buenos.
No pun intended, the Holly had just uncontested drop spot.
Yeah, with no one
Porque
fighting
esos locos
down
son
early
muy
game, you have
buenos.
a huge advantage on playing the rest of your game out, going for positions, going for wins. That
Gacha.
being said, though, Reason and Mongrel are going to be able to battle it out once again here today in these grand finals, and it's the final round for these guys to wrap up their story.
And the important thing to note from Reason, he did win
Y gana,
back-to-back
po, a 5 de vida.
against players like Letwick, who had even Kit Shockwave launcher to try to put him down. He does not care and will go for the biggest streak of 2 back-to-back games in terms of eliminations and wins. So that total amount of points, ridiculous for Reason, we'll have to see if he
Pero
can
debería
pull
ser esto
today.
de región costa, o
That's
sea,
the
de
biggest question
Brasil.
across the board, right? Who is in form? A lot of these players, they already know the field. They've already scouted each other out, and just like we've done our research, they have too. Now the question is, who will hold
No,
strong?
si van a estar en afuera de casa, po.
With that being said, guys, it is time to get into the first game of the day here in EU. So let's get ready to toss it over to our casters. We've got Clay, Sailing, and Sundown to take us through all the action. Gentlemen, over to you.
Veamos.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Joneses,
Sí,
Bonesies,
Sundown, algo así.
theys and thems, welcome to the first game of the FNCS Grand Finals in EU, and I hope you got your popcorn ready, whether it's literally or the emote and party royale, because this game is about to be a blast.
A ver, la final.
I am ready for seeing all the action unfold. I hope everybody's got their favorite emote out, whether it be take a seat, whether they're with their glow sticks out raving. I'm ready. I know you're ready, Sundown. It's going to be amazing.
Enough from us. Let's take us into game number 1. The analyst desk set it up so well. Shout out to Zeke, Bala, and Chowder. But now we're into match number 1. This is it. 6 games to decide who will walk away with that Axe of Champions. Who will be the top player in arguably the most competitive region in Fortnite. It does have the most participants. And there's $800,000 up for grabs here. And here's the initial drop spot.
And it looks like everyone's sticking true to where they.
Mira, te cacha toda la gente que está en la fortilla. Hay más gente en la fortilla que en la otra.
Players there in Caddy Corner, the 4 in Lazy Lake that we've seen time and again from Europe, and of course we've got Rezon and Holly Hedges, and it seems like he may be alone.
And one of the best comments I think I saw coming out is, wow, everyone is really scared of Rezon. And if you look at some of those early game drop spots, both in Heat and
le cambié el título, ahora el título es
everyone stays
FNS
really
Gran
far away
Final
from him. And you
BR.
can see that in the bottom right-hand corner on the map. Not a single triangle remotely close to him representing another player. That's because he's done such a good job over the course of the entirety
la auge
of
es
this
lo que me
tournament
ocupan.
to stake out the claim, and then also getting a nice little elite chest
La auge es
right
una
there,
cosa de lo
bringing
que más
him
ocupo.
the legendary burst AR, and he's set to go now. He can begin his rotation and head to center zone. He has those 6 crash pads, which you've seen him execute on so well.
cobran por todas las
He's
partes.
basically set to now just farm the materials he needs and transition into the mid game. However, we've seen him go aggressive time and time again with a similar loadout, as now we swing on over.
And you saw carefully he wasn't taking a chance to
¿Ese no es Zeta?
He didn't want anything to go wrong in game number 1, because that sets the pace of your games going forward. Whether you get out to a head start, or whether you get to climb your way back from an unfortunate off-spawn elimination. However, Head on the other side of it does have players nearby. Loadout not as great as what we just saw on Rezon, but someone that also did very well in the qualifiers. Came out, I believe, got a 2nd place there in one of the days. He's got that Cyber Rivals territory, and he's peppered up, he's looking for an elimination. I think he's going to be able to catch this play off guard. Snipe's going to come through. He's going to wait, and he does. Arden's going to go down. Elimination comes over for him.
Brilliantly done
El
there
sniper
by
es
Hank.
clave,
Set
es
up that
demasiado
ambush on the
clave.
side. We've talked about it time and time again, how you need to be careful. But in the early game in particular, it's so hard to really know where your opponents are, keeping track of them. If somebody does get that first shot down and you're not able to react, it can be game ending. You're going out there in 96. It's so hard. It's a 0-point game, and now you have to sit back and watch everyone else have fun while you're sitting there waiting for the next game. Because now we hop on board, and Candy, who's going to be in the exact same situation as Milan, turns that one around. And someone who's really been playing a lot.
And a Lawful on and Normal on, but both of them have been playing very, very well and have consistently been making it into that top 25. It seems like almost every single qualifier, so it's really good to see consistency being rewarded, especially with the way the format is. The format rewards those high-placing, high-consistent games, so if you're able to get to top 15, top 25, top 10 every single game,
¿Ya
you're going
empezó la
to start to make your way to
FNS?
the top of the leaderboard.
No, ya no empezó.
And that's what the goal is for the end. We talked about so much
La
yesterday
FNS
how it's
empieza en
like top
2 horas.
25 is all that matters. Well, here, everyone wants to be number 1. You have to walk away with that top spot. It's a
y
solo
son
competition.
39
You want
metros.
the grand prize in the Axe of Champions and all the clout that comes with saying, hey, I am the best player in my region after the weeks of qualifiers and then coming down to this. And Mr. X, who had a beautiful run yesterday to even get him here. The miracle back-to-back-to-back eliminations, but now
¿Y te aparezco en rojo?
going to get in directly on top of him, but sticking straight to the AR spray. He didn't have a
Rosado.
shotgun. That's what we talk about. Those early game fights, he just had the assault rifle and the SMG, opting to stick with the AR, and I think that might have been the wrong call, as the SMG could have offered him slightly more damage in that situation, but rifle comes through and punishes it.
And it was such a close call. That Siphon was just
Es lo que más ocupa ahí. Y el gancho.
You see, now on another engagement, it's between Wolfies and Maestro. Maestro
Espérate que tiene
running off this side on the front foot. The pedal is down. Maestro wants to just
Pero lo que más
continue to
ocupan
push
es...
down. Shots go through. He's getting break to the wall.
Casi lo
And
mata.
Wolfies is going to go down.
That was a huge pickup there from Maestro Wolfies, who was the second place finisher in the duos of the World Cup. We've seen him play so aggressively, the young player from the UK, but when he's put on the back foot, it can be a little bit challenging there. Maestro did come through, got dropped down to 48 HP, but don't forget, in arena and tournament settings, there is that siphoned enabled. That means when you eliminate an opponent, you will get either 50 HP or 50 shield back, depending on which one you end up needing. It prioritizes health first, and then they will also drop all of their materials.
Oh, este loco tiene el mejor loot. Me parece que tú estás jugando acá, me parece YouTuber Bauti. Como si tú estuvieras jugando.
Particularly in the mid and the late game now, as on board here with a Ventex who takes two really big shots and is put on the back foot.
He is, but luckily enough for him, Crash does not have any shield pop. Now, it's not going to be as good as he is going to be finding time to get those minis in that big shield pop. And Intel over there needs to find an aggressive push into the box and needs to catch him off guard. If Ventex is not able to get this medkit off, this does not look well for them. But it seems like the medkit will be popped, so he does get back to fighting HP. Under 15 HP is enough to withstand some shots. As Crash now on the back foot. That's exactly what he needed to do. He needed to turn that defense that he was waiting on into that offensive moment. And now Crash is in a very bad situation. 6 builds remaining. No HP to really work with. He's going to have to hit a really big charge shot there. Dana coming through, not going to connect on these shots. He goes to the box, but Crash hits the shot, and that's another elimination for him.
And you talked about it. He needed to hit that big charge shot, holding it up and punishing the player, and particularly when you see two players box to box fighting with charge shotguns, it's really difficult if you're not able to get that finishing blow right away, like No Luck Nebby does there, finding Kira to close out the fight, because you can have.
Oh, Nebby, what? Don't even forget my point there. Nebby showing the power of the hunting rifle, showing up, catching two players on the outside. However, look in the bottom right-hand corner. A third player is now rotating by. So can Nebby get all of these resources and get out without getting engaged on? But those are two monstrous shots. He's got to feel confident there. Definitely not living up to his name. Plenty of luck going on.
And you took the words from my mouth. Nebby with an amazing aim there. Just getting what he needed to get started. However, someone who is not having amazing luck is Janice right now. 134 effective HP. He fought their off spawn on rotation. Now he is going into the orchard, which does allow him these campfires and the apples that drop that give you 5 HP per consume. He's going to be in a good spot. He's able to really farm up. But Janice dropped metal count. It was only 97. I'm at a Steamy with only 97 metal is not what he's used to, and this is definitely impacting the game.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough there. Also, tons of players will know where he's stoking that campfire, putting off the smoke signal. You can see him, those apples dropping, but instead opting to burn the extra wood. Good trade-off there and good awareness of where he was on the map. However, you do see Sven is lurking and trying to catch out the FNC. Dennis over on the side, and he does get some real quick. That's the problem. Again, we talk about it, the hunting rifle on the side. If you're not ready for it, it can be a game ender right there. You get caught out farming. And honestly, I think that's a little bit on Janice there. You don't want to be on the edge of the zone and caught gaining materials. Like, yes, you did just get in. You can feel safe. You're back up at that 100 health, 100 shield threshold. But you have to know other players are rotating from that side and going to be behind you. And Sven is actually going to get harassed there. As he tries to rotate out.
¿Qué le pasa a la skin noob?
Three-way fight going on over here.
Oh, and now
¿Cuál es el skin noob será?
Players controller getting into the boxes and getting the shots, picking up 2 eliminations
Digo lo mismo,
back to
pero
back.
¿cuál es skin
Gonna fall there, and these are what you need to do in solos. You need to get into the box and you need to finish the eliminations quickly, because like we saw, if you come and you fight and you box fight and you build fight, and more people are going to come and they're going to realize that, and you are going to fall. So very good play there from controller.
And so far, it's been the story of the
¿cuál era? A ver, le voy a enviar
solicitud
a las dos skins.
Whether it's your friend or your favorite streamer, that third party is the extra player who comes in. So if you're taking a 1v1 and somebody else rotating by says, oh, you guys are preoccupied. First, we saw Nebby picking up the 2 shots there, then controller closing it out with that epic tactical shotgun. Going to be on board here with Ovation Orion. We've seen him pull off a number of plays, but again, really good at kind of those ambush-style tactics, as you can see here, trying to set up a little bit on this player who's
Pero no, parece ese tipo de skin, ¿no?
the map in the bottom right-hand corner. That is the next storm zone.
¿Tú cachas esa skin?
Pulling a little bit central. We're just kind of south of the authority, or just over the authority, with a little bit of a southwestern side there. So most of the players will have time. The Slurpy Swamp players will have tons of priority, and Storm Surge has just turned on, which is something you might not be familiar with if you're watching there. So
es que debemos llegar a las 3.